Hey everyone, it's Dr. Austin. I know it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, literally 5 months, I think, since the last time I posted a full-length video. And that's because a lot has changed in my life. As the name of the video implies, there's been a big life update, and I wanted to finally let you in on it because I've spent most of this year actually stressing out about it. But before I let you in on what it is, first of all, I'm still a doctor, still practicing medicine, just to a lesser extent clinically. So I'm still seeing patients and doing procedures, but just not quite as much as I had been before because I've taken on a whole different full-time job on top of that. And just to build a little bit more on what it is, let me take you back to the beginning of this year. I basically got a text message from somebody that I'd never spoken to before, and the text very simply asked, "Can you give me a call?" And the next thing you know, I'm on the phone with the president of the gastrointestinal business of Medtronic, asking me to be the first chief medical officer for the gastrointestinal business worldwide for Medtronic, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, medical device companies in the world. And so I had a lot to think about. Long story short, I accepted that proposal, and now I'm also an industry executive on top of being a practicing doctor at an academic center. So it's a very rare hybrid, and I figured I'd come on here and tell you more about it because hopefully I can be a resource to a lot of young doctors out there who are looking to potentially do the same thing, or for people who are a little more curious, and hopefully I'll be able to shed some more light on this over time. And by the way, for those of you who don't know what medical devices are, they're basically tools that we use to help prevent, diagnose, and treat patients. So this really encompasses all sorts of things, like big imaging machines down to little tools that surgeons and other procedural doctors use. They sometimes can be really technically sophisticated tools, things like implantable pacemakers or ventilators, down to blood pressure cuffs, the tools that surgeons use, or the scopes that we use, or the tools we use to stop bleeding, and stents. I think you get the idea. Basically everything out there. One of the most common questions I get asked is, well, why did you do it? And one of the things that attracted me to gastroenterology in the first place, because I know a lot of people out there probably think like,
why do people want to go into gastroenterology?
And you know, for people outside of medicine, they often don't realize that gastroenterology is one of the most popular fields out there for doctors to go into. And I think a lot of my colleagues share the same sort of interest in innovation and procedures and technology as I do. So it makes sense that I would be interested in this. And I think one thing to understand is that in my field and a lot of other fields in medicine, especially procedural ones, we work very closely with the medical device manufacturers because the engineers and the researchers there need doctors' input to be able to say if this is actually worthwhile, if this is easy to use, etc. Some of my mentors even have created companies and invented products that they've later sold to the medical device industry. But I mean, it definitely was a lot to think about. I had to rethink my entire career pathway because up until this point, I thought I was gonna remain in academia and just kind of do procedures, see patients, teach, do research. And I'm still doing a little bit of all of that, but when this opportunity came to me, I really had to rethink, okay, what are my goals here? And as much as I do enjoy seeing patients one-on-one and having that sort of individual impact, but it sort of struck me that one of the things that I've been trying to do all this time is to reach a broader audience through social media. And being able to innovate and potentially push out technologies to millions of people around the world and be involved in that process, I think really aligns with what I've been trying to do on social media and really have an impact at the population level. And without sounding too salesy, some of the devices that we make are truly innovative. I mean, one of the products in this company is the first to market artificial intelligence polyp detection device, and seeing where artificial intelligence is going and that potential impact on our field and in patient care, I'm super excited. And why don't I hear more people doing this? Honestly, unless it's a startup, often the chief medical officers in positions like mine now go to ex-presidents of societies or former division chiefs who are decades into their career. And it's pretty rare that they would approach someone like me at my stage in my career to do something like this, which I think is really innovative, and hopefully I'll be able to lend a fresh perspective as a result. Of course, I recognize that I'm very, very lucky to be in a position like this, and I'm trying my best to really make sure that I'm doing the best job I can possibly be doing. What do I do in this role? Well, if you ask all the chief medical officers out there, the job varies tremendously across the field. So it really depends. And for me, I just started actually, less than 3 months ago. So it's still evolving. I'm still learning a lot. But basically, it's a little bit of everything. I either help out or oversee aspects of the regulatory process, like how to introduce new devices through the FDA, for instance, or other regulatory agencies around the world, helping out with clinical trial design, testing out prototypes, learning about operations and the manufacturing process, helping guide business development and understanding which smaller companies are worthwhile to acquire or collaborate with, helping out with monitoring medical safety, professional education because the doctors need to learn how to use these devices and use them in the right way. So really it's a little bit of everything, and I'm sure some of these will be prioritized over others over time. How do you like it so far? I'm really enjoying it. I'm learning a ton. I mean, there is so much happening right now, especially because I'm juggling this full-time job in industry with my job in medicine. So if you look, I don't think you can see, but I actually have multiple monitors here. So there's a lot happening, but it's been a lot of fun. I've been able to test out prototypes, work with some of the key opinion leaders in my field, big names within gastroenterology who are collaborating with me and with us. I've been able to travel a lot and go visit some of these doctors around the country. I've been able to visit the manufacturing plant and engage with the folks who work there, people who otherwise I wouldn't have the opportunity to meet, and be able to learn about this process that I otherwise wouldn't be able to see if it wasn't for being in this role. So yeah, I'm learning a ton. I get to learn more about health policy and be able to learn all the barriers behind how to introduce a new technology safely into the market. And it's not easy, and it's super complicated, especially not only just here in the US, I would imagine, but all around the world. How do I get this job if I want to do the same thing? I mean, again, I was very fortunate to be approached with this, but I would say definitely focus on your craft and build your brand. If you have a particular interest within medicine, you need to have that focus be known. And if you think about all the different doctors out there, how are you going to distinguish yourself from others without a focus? So I've been very fortunate to establish that focus, for it to be noticed. I would also say asking around and talking to more people and expressing that interest potentially, even though for me, I would not have expected this to happen this year. Do I encourage other people to do the same thing? It's interesting because with the whole Great Resignation this year, I wonder how many health professionals have left medicine. I would say first things first, everyone has their own interests, so you gotta do you. But I think you're gonna be seeing more people doing kind of this hybrid deal like me in the future. And it really makes sense because really there should be more crosstalk between industry and policy and all different sectors with healthcare, because to be honest with you, everything affects healthcare. If we think about what's happening right now in the world with supply chain as a result of COVID, now I realize why it really has a downstream effect on how we care for our patients. But either way, I'm hoping that now that I'm in this role, I can shed some light on what it's all about and hopefully reimagine what it means to be a chief medical officer, what it means to be a physician, and hopefully help move the needle a little bit so that this healthcare ecosystem is more integrated, if that makes sense. And lastly, how is this going to change your content? Honestly, I don't know. I've been trying to figure out a way to use social media the way that I have been doing to educate, but doing it in a way that obviously is within the guardrails of working in industry, working within FDA regulations, and still be of value to all of you. So I'm still learning how to do that. For those of you who follow me on other channels, I'm still posting on Instagram, I'm still posting on TikTok, I'm still doing all the things. We'll see where it goes, but please let me know what questions you might have about my new role. Hopefully I'll make a follow-up video, perhaps addressing any of your questions, so leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to learn more about me, you can follow me on all the different socials. Like and subscribe. It would really, really help me out. Hopefully everyone will stay safe out there, because I know that there's a lot happening right now. And stay warm this holiday season, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.